Hi guys, Jocelyn here. Just wanted to give you a little update on our current attempts to follow the new public health orders and keep Rio the safest possible place for you to continue your fitness. So, as a little bit of background, on Friday, the November 13th, the provincial government released some updated guidelines for fitness facilities. So we have a quote here from their website. Fitness facilities may continue to operate under the Reopen Saskatchewan guidelines, but all aerobic group fitness activities, and they specify spin classes, circuit training, and aquasize, are limited to a maximum of 8 participants. It also says underneath here, individual aerobic activities, treadmill, stationary bike, lane swimming, are permitted if all equipment is properly distanced according to the Reopen Saskatchewan guidelines. If I flip over to the Reopen Saskatchewan guidelines, they tell me that at high intensity, equipment needs to be 3 meters apart, and fitness facilities are limited by the public indoor gathering, which is currently 30 people. So this puts us in the position, we think, of choosing between either instructing classes, but cutting our capacity to 8 people, or operating under an open gym format, more like a regular Globo gym. So keeping our capacity, we currently are laid out for 15 people, more than adequately spaced apart in our COVID squares. But what that does is removes our ability to instruct a class. So we can either instruct a class but cut our capacity by 50%, or we can keep our same capacity, keep the same number of people able to work out, but we're no longer allowed to instruct that, and that, I guess, then it's a class. We don't think that either of those options increase the health or safety of our members or our community at all. And we were in contact with our MLA and the health minister with both of their offices on Friday to express our concerns over the declining quality of safety involved in either of these options. Our issue there, to cut our capacity to 8 people, doesn't serve anybody any better. Now, half the number of people are able to keep up their healthy exercise routine, so that's not ideal. What Saskatchewan needs right now is as many healthy people as possible, and reducing the number of people that can work out regularly by 50% isn't an option that we feel like we could choose in good faith. Keeping the capacity at 15 people allows more of our BRIO members to keep up with their regular exercise routine, but it removes the ability of the coach to supervise things like staying on time, so that we can have one group finish their workout and be out of the way before the next group comes in. So the coach is there to adhere to a timeline. The coach is enforcing the social distancing, making sure people stay in their squares. The coach is making sure people are wearing masks in the parts of the facility where they need to, coming and going in and out of their squares. The coach is there to supervise that all the equipment gets properly sanitized and cleaned. And so we feel that keeping 15 people in the facility but removing the coach from that situation makes everything less safe for everybody. So we've been in touch with, like I said, our MLA and the health ministers to express our concerns about both of those options. Our alternate suggestions are things we feel would have maybe actually contributed to people's safety had they said, we're concerned about people breathing heavy in close proximity to each other, and we think now you should be 4 meters apart instead of 3. We would absolutely work with that. We would retape out our squares, give everybody a little bit more space. Had they said we think people should wear masks while they work out the whole time, we would have dealt with that. We would update our programming to do a little bit more strength work, a little less intense cardio activity for the next 2 or 4 weeks, or however long they wanted us to adapt under that system. But we think keeping 15 people bumbling around in the gym on their own, but removing the coach's ability to supervise anything that's going on, we don't think that that makes anything better. We think it only makes things substantially worse. Today's Tuesday, Premier Moe and Dr. Shahab had another press conference in which they said they released some updated guidelines and just said they will be consulting with people in the fitness industry. So after that press conference, I reached out to Paul Merriman, the health minister's office, again to say, please let us be part of that consultation. And I also phoned the Support for Business helpline to ask for help, which they're not really able to answer our questions or provide help in the way that we need. So until we hear back from any of the number of places that we've reached out to, Support for Business, our MLA, the health minister, we are going to continue to operate in the safest possible way for our members, which is to have a coach present and supervise that we're adhering to the top-notch safety protocols that we have been this whole time. As a fun fact, since we reopened June 8th, we've facilitated almost 21,000 workouts safely. Not a single case of COVID transmission in our gym, thanks to the cooperation of our members, the hard work of our coaches, and many creative ideas and ways that we've come up with to keep our healthy, both physical and mental health habits. So here are some of the physical distancing guidelines from the Reopen Saskatchewan plan. Limiting the number of patrons allowed into the facility at any one time to ensure there's sufficient space for everybody and to prevent congregating in the front areas. We're using separate entrance and exit doors. You guys are familiar with our red light, green light system. If the red lights are on, it means too soon, we're not ready for you. We need to give time for the previous group to exit before you can come in. It says consider using a booking system that allows a limited number of patrons to book and attend a specific time slot. Ensure there is sufficient time between time slots for cleaning and disinfecting, as well as reduce crowding. We've always operated like that, of having people sign in for their specific class times. So we always have contact tracing if we needed to. We always know exactly who's in the facility at any given time. Place markers, such as tape or cones every 2 meters. We've taped out squares in our facility that are all at least 10 by 12 feet, so providing more than the 3 meters of distancing between stations. Directing traffic with one-way flow, so we use separate entrance and exit doors. Physical distancing observed at all times. We do things like limiting the number of people in our locker rooms to 2 at a time. All classes must occur in a space that permits increased ventilation. We installed extra ventilation in the fall, so once we weren't able to have the overhead doors open on the front and back of the building, we installed extra ventilation to have more fresh air intake during the winter months. Equipment should not be shared or used simultaneously, like working in sets. Everyone, you guys are aware, has their own station of equipment, their own weights, their own barbell, their own pull-up bar. We're not sharing any equipment. So that's an update with where we're at right now. We've reached out to everyone we can think of to try to help us make sense of these new guidelines. Our goal is to support your healthy habits the very best that we can. We want to keep Brio being one of the safest places on the planet to pursue both your mental and physical health habits. If there's anything that you think of that we could be doing, please reach out to us, info@crossfitbrio.com. Send us an email at any time. We'd love to hear from you. Until we hear back from the many outfits that we've reached out to try to help, we will be continuing to operate in the safest way we know how. So please continue to sign in for classes like normal. And we will update you when we know more. Thank you.